Majo John Madden in Acamal, Mexico. My apodo in Mexico is Juanito, and I like that a lot. I just put up a very flippant little video about smoking. And yesterday, a new friend who I value a lot gave me a hard time about smoking. You know, they're bad for you. And I tried to restrain my irritation with her and simply said, if sometime you would be interested and willing to be non-defensively listening to me, I could talk to you about me and smoking and why I smoke. Or I could point you to videos where I talk about it. But I would like to talk about it here. Why I smoke and why I think a lot of people smoke and why for some people it's more of a good thing than a bad thing. It has more upside than downside. I started smoking in high school. When I was a senior in high school, seniors had our own lounge in the school and smoking was allowed there. Back then you could get them out of a vending machine for 25 cents. One of the more destructive aspects of American society has been the demonization of tobacco and of cigarette smokers. Good, liberal, progressive people who try to be non judgmental, who do yoga and meditate, routinely despise cigarette smokers, look down on them. And many of those folks miss cigarettes a lot, really enjoyed smoking, and will say, candidly, I'll always miss them. Some people need cigarettes. I am a very expansive artist. It's hard to keep my feet on the ground, and cigarettes help me do that. A long time ago, I was living in Syracuse, New York, and I had macrobiotics friends, and they followed rigorous, really way too stringent diets, and most of them smoked sometimes, a few cigarettes a day at least. When I said I was struggling against my own habit at that point, I said, "How can you do this?" And they said, "Cigarettes are yang. If you are too yin, too expanded, hard to keep your feet on the ground, cigarettes will support you in grounding yourself." And that's absolutely my reality. Absolutely my reality. When I went to the country, left Asheville, North Carolina when the COVID hit and went to the country, uh, I found that 2 or 3 drags of a cigarette would stop my mind. I'm a word guy, a writer, and 2 or 3 drags of a cigarette and my capacity to form English words just evaporated. And I had the crazy theory back then that it was the smoke was anesthetizing my brain so I couldn't think. But no, it was slowing me down, and Myrna, my friend, just brought me a beer. That's great. She's congratulating me because she knows I'm suffering about the Trump election. Uh, yeah, they slow me down. And if I stay with that, that inner quiet can last for a half an hour or an hour. The U.S. attempts to keep people from smoking by taxing the hell out of cigarettes, which penalizes the poor and the homeless who need the cigarettes more, who are not going to quit and end up smoking really shit cigarettes. I've said often that if the U.S. wanted to have a progressive policy about smoking, hey, they have methadone clinics. In the homeless communities, I've got a lot of friends in the homeless communities, there will be a truck come around to take sharps from you, to provide tinctures to make sure you don't get infected. Uh, Bring CBD oil, that's a good replacement. Or the government should take the tax away or make it very minimal, especially on additive free cigarettes. In the US, I always smoked American Spirit. You could get them at any convenience store. In Mexico, it's really, really hard to find additive free cigarettes, and I'm convinced it's the additives that are most painful. Even the movie, what was the movie with Cameron Crowe? The Insider, about the tobacco industry. What they caught them in doing was adjusting the additives so that the nicotine would go into your system faster. uh, and get you more addicted. So is the additives. I scored this pouch of American Spirit on Fifth Avenue in Playa del Carmen yesterday. It was 325 pesos. Cigarettes are cheap in Mexico because they're not taxed any more than anything else. And what business is it of the U.S. government to try to stop you from smoking? That's just a sign of one of the ways the U.S. government has lost its way. And I've always said that if the left wants to reach out to the right, say, yes, Big Brother is interfering in your personal life too much. And the whole tax on cigarette smoking is one of the things. And there's lots more things that the U.S. government does wrong that way. I think I've said enough. I invite your responses. I love responses. I love challenging responses. I'm not crazy about things that say you're an asshole and you know nothing. And I love, yay, hooray, thanks for saying that. But if you want to push back, I would really welcome that, and I'll answer your comment for sure. Thanks.